pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Well, they started back, but it kind of has some nails to some things. It don't really prepare it. Tips, but it gets right more distance. They go here there.
Please come to order. We do have proof of posting in accordance with Chapter 551 as the Texas Government Code is amended, known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any members of the public who wish can speak at this time. We'll talk to you when we get to mass gathering. All right. If there are none, we'll go to item number 1, which is to approve the minutes of June 20th meeting.
We got some new dividers. I dig it.
Item 2, budget transfers and amendments.
I'm having to move some around, making it pretty clear, this week's next year.
Not meeting on the 10th.
Yeah, if you do. No, this is going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I'll buy the materials, real yard, where we go. Trevor's
amendment and there's certification.
Certification. $1,000.
I second.
And that is in the motion.
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve and pay the bills. We're going to try to move right along today so that we can adjourn this, in order to be able to go to a funeral from a fellow that was a long-time county employee. I'm saying look fast.
Make a motion to pay the bills. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 4 is to approve the payroll.
It should be right there.
It's under.
Oh, okay. It's up to it. Thank you so much.
I make a motion to approve payroll. Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 5, reports. You have a report from the tax office. June, and then I have quarterly report of sick leave pool, no activity, unfunded liability quarterly report, or sick time, vacation time, comp time, holiday time. Holiday time will work itself out, but so we need to look at that comp time. Leaner and median. Quarterly investment and interest earned report. I think you probably all have a copy of that. We'd like to look at the interest rates and the maturity dates. This interest rate is up some. Any other reports? Not, we have a motion to accept these reports.
I make a motion to accept the report. I second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Number 6, burn ban.
Got no calls from anybody.
No action.
No action.
No action.
No action. Number 7, road use agreements. Anybody have any?
Two.
No action. number 8, approve bonds.
Hang on a second. What, have y'all got the road use agreements?
We got it. We're gonna try to get it today.
We're gonna
That'd
approve
be
it down
number
here.
13.
Oh, okay.
Item number 7, special road use agreements, contracts, permits, bonds, none. No action. Item number 8, to approve bonds and education certificates. I have this Otis elevator contract extension. Do you think we can do that under number 7, or do we want to put that on next week's?
Well, I'm
agenda?
working with them on a 1295 too.
Ma'am?
I'm working with them on a 1295 too.
We'll just hold that till next time.
Okay.
We're not even gonna table it, we'll just hold it till next time. All right, item number 8 is to approve bonds and education certificates. I do not have any, does anybody have any? If not, no action. Item number 9, I'm certainly glad that Dan is here. We need to designate the tax assessor collector to calculate the no new revenue tax and the voter approval rate. He always does that, but we're actually supposed to designate. So do I have a motion to appoint Dan?
Appoint me.
I say.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Good. Also, in case you didn't see, on the, what was it that we appointed him on? Again, the sick leave pool.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that too. Item number 11, security cameras for the new tax office.
That's your, that little voter over there.
How's it
Yes,
going?
I thought this fellow right here was.
Yes, thank you for having me in today. This is just one additional thing that was in there.
Thank you.
My name is Dan Cerrone with Verkada. I'd like to thank you guys for having me in today and just kind of talk through what we're proposing, what's in front of you for your new tax office, as well as a thought to, eventually expand, further across the county. And I'll just take a couple minutes here to kind of talk through what's in front of you, answer any questions that you guys might have, and then just kind of walk through pricing as well. Like I said, really answer any questions. But just to kind of, in the packets in front of you, kind of walks through a slideshow deck that I kind of just put together. Like I said, just walking through what's included in this. We're trusted throughout the state of Texas, work with a lot of different counties, cities, school districts, over 500 plus current customers just in the state of Texas in that space. Some of those including, a bunch of school districts around you guys, Buffalo ISD, Oakwood ISD, Wortham ISD, Palestine, Athens, Centerville, all kind of in this area, and many more, as well as the city of Buffalo, one of the closer cities right to you guys. Verkada's vision and where we kind of came into the market, we've been around, our founders have been around for a while. They've been in the legacy camera security space, so maybe some of the cameras that you've been used to in the past, they saw a gap in the market of kind of combining all things physical security for a building. So what you've seen in front of you today is a couple different of our product solutions. So there's a page there that just kind of highlights Verkada Command, which is your single pane of glass to manage all of this. So managing your cameras, your panic buttons, your alarms that are included in this security tax office, and your access control doors. So it's all under one roof, all completely integrated, so that, hey, a door opens, you're seeing the visual context with that. A panic button's pushed, you're seeing the camera footage with that. All of those types of things. You can view it from anywhere, so we are a hybrid cloud solution, meaning that ultimately all of our cameras, let's just say they will record 30 days retention. If you need more, we have that as well. But the proposal in front of you is 30-day retention. They will continue to record even if Wi-Fi goes down, let's just say, as long as they have power. Once Wi-Fi is back connected, they'll upload all that footage. So you're not losing footage if something were to happen. There's also proactive notifications. So a lot of times with old security systems, you don't know a camera went down until something happens in that location. You go to look for the footage, it's not there anymore. So just some of the highlights that are included in there. Really the other thing is an easy deployment. So we're getting rid of a lot of old equipment. So our deployments are very simple. It's really the hardware connecting back to switch, a central room, and you're good to go. You're up and running, and then we help you configure everything. That's all included in the pricing there. So everything that's included in that proposal is nuts to bolts, that once we get you guys complete, you will be up and running. Whoever needs access will have access on their mobile phone, on a desktop, wherever you'd like to access it from. And then, I think just some of the things that I've talked with Dane about, really support some of the things that you guys are trying to solve with maybe some of your current systems, support being one of them. For us, our 95% of our issues are resolved remotely. So, and they can just live chat in, they respond within 30 seconds. You don't have to call someone, wait for someone to come on site. You don't have to pay them a contract. Once again, that support's all included in that cost in front of you. And that also goes with our 10-year product warranty. So let's say they remote in, it is a software issue, let's say, they're gonna help you fix it. If it is a hardware issue, hey, the camera's down, a panic button's broken, they're gonna ship you out one within 48 hours. Dane, let's just say, or someone else would take that down, put the new one in, it's plug and play, and you're good to go. And that's a 10-year product warranty no matter what. And then I think just increasing visibility, increasing simplicity. So just like I said, accessibility as well. You can access this from anywhere in the world. You can be on vacation and you can get a notification, let's just say. You can also turn them off if you want, very customizable. But knowing that, hey, a door was forced open when the tax office should be closed. Things like that are all going to be very accessible to you. And then, a couple of the other things, and I'll actually just kind of jump to it here, walking through this. I kind of talked about the doors being tied to the cameras, so that anytime there is a door event, you see that. We also have Bluetooth capabilities, so being able to open up those doors with Bluetooth, with your phone, remotely through a desktop. So let's say someone else is watching that door, they can, they see someone at the door, they get a notification, they can actually just open up that door if they would like. Also what's included here is the alarms and panic buttons. I will say the biggest thing that I like to point out here is what old alarm system, burglar alarm systems, things like that. These are all included in your proposal with our panic buttons. The biggest thing is you don't have to go call a third party, change anything, you don't have to manage anything, no maintenance contracts once again if something does go down. It's all included in there. You guys can go in and make the switch in real time saying, hey, I need to give this person an access code. Hey, someone was supposed to get in late at night, I need to let them in or I need to give them the access code. Very easy to send out an invite via text to them and they can have access to that building. Outside of that, I can kind of just jump into the pricing and what we're kind of looking at. Like I said, I touched on some of the things, but what you'll see in that proposal is hardware, and then there's a license cost, and then install pieces to it. There's a couple door hardware pieces that aren't technically Verkada. Those are just because those are getting the doors ready to be able to be electrified, so meaning that the doors can be controlled. But when I talk about really there's two costs of Verkada, it's the hardware cost and the license cost. And what's included in that license is some of those things I mentioned, like I said, the 10-year warranty on all our hardware, the best-in-class 24/7 support. Like I said, it's all included. No more maintenance contracts. So, when you look at our costs, you might sometimes see, hey, it's a little bit more expensive up front than what we've seen in the past from security cameras, things like that. Well, like I said, it's when you start to consider looking at that 10-year warranty, maintenance contracts, a lot of other systems are maybe a 3-year warranty. Now you have unknown cost, as well as we look at what inflation's done. You don't know how much those cameras are going to be, how many times you're going to have to replace them throughout those 10 years. Ongoing software, no ongoing software costs, and automatic firmware updates. So the thing I like to say is the system that let's say, you guys like this idea, you guys move forward with it, the system you would purchase today is the worst version that you'd ever see. We have automatic firmware and software updates. So anytime we come out with new features and functionality, so for example, we just came out with AI-based searching. So being able to search by a blonde-haired girl with a purse walk through, and we need to search for that, you can type that right in, and it will pull up any single one of your cameras across any of your sites if you do look to move forward and expand this, and it will pull up, like I said, anywhere across the county. So reducing your time to search is a big thing. You can also search by color of the shirt, color of the pants, things like that. And like I said, those are all complete over the 10 years. We're never gonna come back to you and ask you for more money. And then unlimited users, viewers, so anybody coming on, you're not gonna have to pay more for them. Unlimited cloud archiving. And then what I like to point out and just explain, when I say that license, there is 4 different options on there for you guys. There's a 1-year license, a 3-year license, 5-year, 10-year. Ultimately what that looks like is why we go all the way up to 10 years because of our 10-year warranty. You know, and at the end of the day, that's the only cost that, let's say you go with a 1-year or a 3-year, well then in 3 years you would maybe have to, would be your renewal cost of just that license piece. So I can highlight that and just kind of show you that just that additional license cost that you'd have to pay. But also something to consider is all of our products co-term. So if you expand across your county, so let's say you implement at the tax office and you purchase a 1-year license on those. Then let's say you go to a different building, you expand with cameras, access control, and let's say you go for a grant, something like that, or let's just say you have more money available for other offices, you purchase a 3 or a 5-year, all your products are gonna come to renewal at the same date, and it's just gonna push out the cameras at your tax office. So it's not like you're gonna have to pay a fee after year 1 for the tax office if you expand, if that kind of makes sense. But otherwise, I mean, all the costs are in front of you. You know, I have a breakdown of the hardware and licensing costs and what it kind of looks like per year if you go with the different options. And then, you know, what installation is broken out. And then the last thing we included a financing option, if that is of interest to you guys. We also included, on that tax office, there is 3 residential doors outside of the main door that we did include, which is at the bottom of that updated proposal. Those would just be an additional cost to come, and we didn't, why we broke that out was because we originally needed to get some additional hardware for those, because those are some residential doors. But what we would be putting on there is like wireless locks, but they'd still work with the Verkada system and how everything works. But with that, I know I talked a lot. Any questions that you have for me or any clarification that you need from me?
One thing, so it was Verkada equipment at the Franklin ISD?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So Verkada's the manufacturer of the equipment. It will look like this quote is from Novo Emerging Solutions.
Okay, and would that be,
So we are the manufacturer of all of our products, so I'm involved, I'm your account manager, I'm here to help, whatever I may need from you, like I said, what's included in that cost. I provide you training for whoever may need it, configuration. Novo Emergent Solutions is who does the install. So Monty McGill, he's out of Buffalo over here. His company would do all the install of the access control doors. You guys already ran the wires for the cameras. That's why installation is really relatively cheap on this, because all the camera cables are run, so they're really just putting up the cameras. And like I said, it's really just configuring all those cameras.
no, I just called them to get a reference as to whether they were
Yeah.
happy with, but evidently I didn't give them the correct name because they said they didn't.
Well, they were probably giving you the
Expand on that a little bit, Dan.
Yeah. So in regards
I
to,
used the one, what was the one that's,
yeah, so we work with a lot of different partners. We have over 400
this name,
partners.
Verkada, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have over 400 different partners across the state of Texas. So, you know, there's large integrators. They do more than just physical security. They do, you know, Wi-Fi, things like that. They can, the full IT breadth of solutions. So that's why maybe it was somebody else who did that, because actually Novu's been with us about for 1.5 years. They've done the large deployment over at Buffalo and continuing to expand with access control, cameras, and all, you know, our product solution.
But expand a little bit on what we were talking about before the meeting when you talked about Franklin.
In regards,
What product do they got and where they at in their agreement or contract?
yeah, so I was gonna say, so they purchased, I wasn't their account manager, so I would have to get some clarification, but it looked like they did purchase cameras at a minimum, obviously, and then I don't know if they did access control. I would have to look further into that. And then they looked to renew, like I said, their license actually recently, so.
And because we would have to have a 1295, is that right, Karen?
We do.
So we couldn't really make a decision on this today.
We'll have a meeting next week.
At a meeting next week, which would give us some time to.
Decide. And I'm, like I said, all my card is in there, so if you have any additional questions, any follow-up, like I said, I'm happy to introduce you. Once again, I don't know Franklin, it sounds like you know someone, but, Buffalo, Centerville, those are all my customers. Oakwood, Wortham, all would be happy to talk to you, if you would like. And like I said, I have the relationship there, but I can always go find you as the relationship, different account
We can
manager.
check with some of those, it's always good to get
I have a question about on the license.
Mhm.
On the sheet that, the quote that y'all gave, there's 3 different type licenses, right?
Correct.
Correct. Okay, and so each one of them has a certain cost.
Correct.
Okay, so if we chose the 3-year plan,
Yep.
the 3-year plan, how much savings would that be?
So if you look at it, so really it's, when you break it down, let me pull it up here so I can explain it to you a little bit better. So if you're looking at the first page,
Yes,
you
sir.
see the 1-year licenses on there. You can see there's a 1-year door license, so that's for the main door, a 1-year camera license, and then the 1-year basic alarms license. So that cost of about 183 plus 440 plus about 880, that would be your renewal cost at a year. Let's just say you only went with the tax office. If you go with the 3-year, the 15,263, that's your all-in cost. So it's not that plus the 13,000. So it's really just, now you have it for 3 years. So if you look at that and you just break it down per year, you'd probably save around roughly 2K, something like that. I want to say just off the top of my head, because you'd have to renew, let's just say twice in this example, if that makes sense. So you'd have the additional cost of that 1-year license, you'd have to pay that another 2 times. So on top of the 13,000, you'd have to pay another 1,500 next year and a 1,500 the following year. And where you see more savings costs on that is the larger your deployment goes. And like I said, also what's the advantage there is if you were to expand with Verkada further across the county, that's where you just start to see your renewal keeps pushing out. Yep. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, I very much appreciate you guys letting me come in and speak with you. Like I said, you have my card. If there are any additional questions or you need any additional information, or you'd like me to introduce you to anyone, otherwise I wish everyone a very happy 4th of July. And I look forward to connecting with you guys after, and look forward to the opportunity to work with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Do we want to table this to the next meeting, or will that be enough time? Okay, is there a motion to table?
Got that motion?
Sir.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 12, ADA handicap parking compliance and striping of parking lot at the new tax office.
Lauren, I believe most of y'all have been over to what's going to be the new tax office. And the parking lot there is, the stripes are very faded and they're at 90-degree angles. And I was wanting to have those redone. I'd like to make that a one-way through there where people come off 84 and they exit South Bateman. Because I don't think people, the size vehicles people have now, would have a very hard time getting in and out of there and the amount of traffic that we have. I just don't think the current striping is going to work. So I got a bid from this aerial striping. I reached out to several companies, and these are the only people that responded to me. And they have a contract that is why I'm bringing this to you. They have pretty simple little contract. And I talked to the owner of the company, and he said the reason for the contract is because they get stopped by law enforcement and other interested people all the time. What are you doing here? Do you have permission to be here? So he likes to have something to show anybody that might show up while they're doing the work. But I think it's a pretty good bid. I did get another bid from a local person. It's $2,600 for the work that we're needing done. This is $1,300, I believe. And another thing about this, I talked to the owner of the company. He's charging us a minimum. And the minimum includes up
Go
to,
right ahead, I've already heard all this, I need to get
Go
something
ahead.
that's going.
the minimum includes up to 35 parking spaces. I'm estimating that we're going to need about 20 done. And so I reached out to Will Hallmark, which really shares a parking lot with us, and he was very interested. He would like to have the few that face his building redone, and even maybe on the other side where he had a new pour, 7 or 8 spaces there. And he immediately offered $400 towards this project, which works out to be half the minimum. The owner of Aerial Striping doesn't do 3-way contracts. He said if he billed twice, he would have to charge a separate minimum. So it's a little hairy. I didn't know how y'all felt about doing something like that.
I spoke with Karen about this as far as being able to accept a $400 donation from the Hallmark, because that is a true easement right there that we share with him in that same parking lot. So it's again, it's shared. So I think what we're requesting to do is the county would pay $1,300 and State Farm Insurance would give the county a $400 check, ask us to accept a $400 check for the additional stripes in a shared parking lot, which I thought was very nice.
Section 11, 491,
Yeah.
86.
86, okay.
Yeah. I think it's a good quote. We need to get 88
So that's what
flat.
this is now.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the contract, the entire contract will be with the county.
We'll accept the funds when they come in. We'll accept them like we do any other donation.
And we can turn around and use that money for the tax office.
No.
Where does it go?
It'd
I'm
be
just curious.
balance.
You go to
It goes
I
to-
know, yeah. We're just trying to keep it all in the same basket if we could, okay? All right.
And a little bit about the company I can figure out. Their niche is kind of doing Costco's and Walmart's. They said our project would probably be on their way to San Antonio or something early in the morning or
Yeah.
on the way back. They've got a big grinding machine that they're going to take off all the stripes that are there. So I think they'll do a good
Yeah,
job.
that'll take most of the time, I'm sure, from the force plant, I bet it's quick.
Yeah.
Wait on, we can do a motion. Good, get it there. Okay.
Let's do 1295, Karen.
Yes, or that?
No.
All right.
Just need to make a motion to do it. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Y'all talked about how you're gonna do the
Yeah.
$400.
Yeah.
Good. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye? Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you.
And
Thank you. Item number 13 is to amend the road use agreements. We have been working on those, and since trying to make some changes. Now, there is one thing that I'm still talking with Brian about, is the length of time that these are, that they have in the statute and as opposed to what we have in our agreement. But I think we have talked about, maybe found a solution that we can put into it, which would be a renewable every 90 days until the applicant requests request the bond released. And so we're still kind of working on that. So for right now, we are going to go on with, if you're satisfied with what we've got at this moment, and then we'll come back and put some more wording in there for the time length and the renewal.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that?
Yeah, just, 90 days, right? Pretty quick. So yeah, we talked about putting some language in there just to keep it renewing or whatever we had to do, but
Yes.
again.
And I know the clerk keeps a list of those as we're approving those. So we would just every 90 days.
What about 6 months? I mean, that seems kind of short.
That's pretty short.
I mean, on a big project, 90
Yeah,
days.
18, the project is for 18 months.
Yeah.
So 6 months sounds a lot.
I mean, 90 might be a lot of work, a lot more trouble.
Could we
It
make
is,
it
but
worse?
that's what's in the law.
Oh, that's what's in the law?
Yeah,
We didn't
yes.
pick that.
Yeah, we
Why
would
we're
love
trying to
to
get
do
something
2
around.
years or 3 years or
Yeah.
whatever, but,
Okay.
so we kind of run into this problem with 90 days and trying to come up with the most efficient
Yeah.
solution, so we don't have to keep.
Could that 90 days be, could you word it where it's automatically renewed each 90 days unless someone
Well, that's what we're
submits
working on,
something to the
to
court?
see.
That's a good question. That's
Keeping
what we're-
somebody from having to do paperwork every 90 days, and talking about the court every 90 days.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking at. We're hoping, I would hope it'd be something like that,
Yeah.
Lloyd, that we could just put in there that's automatically renewed.
As long as
every-
bonds in
Yeah.
place. If
Yeah.
there's not bonds in
Yes.
place, we don't see why it can't automatically.
Yeah.
It wouldn't change
The only thing
law.
that would break that 90-day cycle would be a request for
Release
release.
of law.
Yes, sir.
But we're gonna get some wording that we're comfortable with.
Hopefully it's something like that. That's what
Oh,
we're.
if not, we'll go to the 90-day renewal and just take a list of those and approve them. It's kind of like an automatic thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but I think we can work something out. Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, you're welcome.
How long's y'all's project gonna be in the county, you know?
By the time we start and finish, close to 18 months.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve the amended road use agreement so that we can get this one
And
done?
y'all basically took some of that language out of those other agreements where
We
we
did.
marked. Because I read through that, and
Yes.
all of that, when we, at the time, we said all those were great ideas.
Yeah,
This is
and so we kind of worked them into that, but look through the other one that everybody has. See if there's something else you want to add to this and write it on there. And then when we come back, maybe next week to finalize this with our other wording in it on this 90-day thing, then we can add that into if there's something else.
For today, make a motion that we adopt this as our new
Yes,
use
yes.
agreement.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye. Motion carried.
We don't have the amount in this.
Oh, that's right. You want to make a motion for the amount that is going to be in this warrant that we're doing for today.
Make a motion that we, at the commissioner's discretion, either one knows these roads, how long they are. Every road's not the same length, they're not gonna be using the entirety of every road.
Everybody may have a different amount, is what you're saying.
Now, do you have a list of roads that is going to be on this agreement?
Sure.
Well, we're doing one agreement for all, pretty soon whoever's involved.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I just have one or two little
Oh, I
roads.
was talking about, you were saying.
You don't have any.
None.
I have 9.
Are you going to do, for example, are you going to do $100,000 bond for all of those bonds, just one bond, or are you going to do
What do you think about it?
those individually?
Well, the thing about it is, if you have a road that they're using is 7 miles long, if you had to go in and do a 7-mile road, that it takes about $40,000 to $50,000 to fix a mile.
No, it takes
So,
100.
so if the road is seven miles long, and you get a $100,000 bond, that's not gonna go very far. So what we usually do is get a $100,000 bond on every road that they use. It may not be but you can bring that money from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
So for his, it would be $900,000? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what it is.
If he has 9 roads and you want $100,000 on each road?
I mean, if they don't tear them up, you're not gonna use it. I mean, I don't know how much it costs the company to have a bond. How much it cost y'all to have a bond?
I have to get checked back with my office, but I mean, that sounds pretty steep. But I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's getting up, if you do that, he does that, that's $2 million, and that sounds a little excessive to me.
We can do individual
Well,
roads.
like mine, I mean, no longer than mine, or I can't see over.
I thought I bought it for $100,000, but big money. But it also says in there too, if they're gonna have, if they carry it up, they're gonna fix it.
That's right.
That's correct.
That's what it says.
The bond's just in case
The
they.
bond is just in case they,
Yeah.
They don't do that.
here in case it's divorced.
Do y'all have a total of the linear miles?
No, but I
combined to each
can
road?
get it. I can get it.
Cutting across half of the county, I mean, I could see going to $200,000 or something. I mean, because it is encompassing, I mean, going over, but I can't see,
I don't do 100 on every road.
yeah. I mean, to increase it just for insurance, it's all about insurance anyway.
And like I said, we're recording all the roads that we're using prior, and that way we're all covered, and we'll fix them if it does get damaged.
I'm saying 200,000. One time shot,
For all of them.
all of them.
And you have how many?
9,
What do I have?
11.
Our biggest usage is going to be right now while we're carrying the pipe.
Sir.
Our biggest usage is going to be happening now when we're moving all that pipe around. You know, those road boys, I mean, are always praying.
Y'all can't even get in my roads with pipe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
right away.
There's access roads, and we're gonna use a bunch of that right away on the major highways, because once, some of them you can't turn,
It's not even
8-foot
accessible
joints.
for the long pipe, they can't make the turns.
Yeah.
In that road use agreement, do they fix the road, if they tear it up, do they fix it now? Or do they wait
This
till
is
after
during,
they get
this
through?
is during.
During and after.
If needed, I mean, I think that'd be at our discretion, wouldn't it?
And I'll be your point of contact, I mean, me or Andy, but primarily me, if you guys are needing help, we'll get out there, we'll look at it, and we'll do what it takes to get it fixed.
That's the good thing about this one, it's about fixing it during.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not sitting there 18 months down the road.
Right. No, I wouldn't want something.
Yeah, that's the good thing about this agreement.
And are y'all gonna fix them, or what y'all gonna buy the material and us fix them?
We'll fix it.
Y'all got motor graders and people that can do
I
it?
think that
They got it.
I don't think Abby's been through.
We'll see.
Yeah, y'all got it.
It says, if the applicant shall fail to repair such damages in the manner as described above on 5 days written notice, then we can repair it and send them a bill, basically. So it's,
I think that up there covers it.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
The only thing that I can see on, if we amend this again in the future, is to show that failure on this contractor's part gives us grounds to try to collect those funds from the operator of the pipeline, in this case, which would be Atmos.
This is to that mode.
Yeah. So Watkins is not gonna be on this.
Thought Watkins was on it.
Now, I think we decided way back that we weren't going with contractors, we were going actually with the company.
The company's going to have the bonds, I would
The
think.
company will have the bond,
That's the way all those
That's
other
the way it always
road use
been.
agreements are.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
so would we need something additional if that's?
No, I just thought in this situation that Watkins was wanting this, and like I say, that's why I wanted the operator named.
They won't
But
get
if it's
it
gonna be
ordered.
with the operator, then that solves that.
Any other discussion? Do we have a motion?
No, not yet.
With that $200,000 put in for the bond, Do we have a motion to approve this road use agreement?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And we're just approving this road use agreement. We will come back next time to amend this, to amend our original, with whatever you
And
have.
then the new one, we'll amend this one to add anything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So did we get a motion?
Yeah, we're gonna vote.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed? None, motion carries. Item number 14, I'd like to table that to next, it is subdivision regulations. Do we have a motion to table?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, second.
All in favor, aye? Number 15, do we want to discuss the payroll and the direct deposit today, or do we want to table that?
Make a motion to table.
Second.
Mass gathering, if you look at number 16, number 16, we have the information for a mass gathering of what is required of the person that is going to put that on. If this is just with the statute as it's.
That's where those numbers come from, is this statute?
The statute, yeah, I
so
gave you a copy of
we
this.
can't change that. I'm just curious, the numbers.
Not the numbers.
Okay.
We couldn't make them a lower or
Okay,
whatever.
I'm just
Because
curious.
that's in the statute.
Yes, sir.
So, most of what we've been talking about on the mass gathering is going to be through the sheriff and how he addresses it. But we have it, of course, the statute was already in place, so we know we have to follow this.
Okay.
Then you also have a mass gathering permit application. That's just a copy of it, and it tells about who has to have this permit and what we can do. The statute tells you what you can do if they don't comply with that.
Where does it say? I want to see what the consequences were for not
Okay.
getting one,
If you look at page,
without reading all of it.
on the mass gatherings at the very end of the statute,
Criminal penalty.
we can, first of all, when they bring in the permit, if it doesn't have all the information that we need, then we could deny the permit. If they do have the information on here, we do have the right then to go on and see if they are complying with what our, what the permit allows, and that is within the statute as far as for the health and safety issues. Having, I would assume porta potties, if it's a just open field type thing.
Say they come in here with it and don't do a permit, the landowner's the only person, that's the person you go after. Right? I mean, I'm just doing what ifs. How you gonna know who's putting that on if they don't have a permit? I mean, does that make sense?
It talks about a promoter, so the promoter could be different than the landowner.
Yeah, but if they don't have a permit, it's ultimately, you gotta go after the landowner, he allowed it on there, I mean, because you don't know, you may not know who the promoter is. If they don't fill out a permit, you're not gonna know.
I think,
If they're advertising
Yeah, but
on the internet, that promoter should go to the.
I don't know, I'm asking the question.
it's a good question. I think, not to punt the answer, but I think like any investigation, it would deal with the facts that you have.
Yeah.
Right, and
Because.
it's a good, and it may go that way or not, I don't know, but it would depend kind of, what Lloyd's talking about, if there's a clear promotion and
Yeah.
things and dates and times.
Just take some investigation.
It would take some
I'm
investigation.
just done, if we were just dumb, didn't know it happened, and it already happened, like on us, and Monday morning, we're saying, we gotta do something. You know,
Correct. We
That's
could-
where I was coming from.
Yes, sir, we could definitely look at that avenue.
Your Honor, may I address the court?
You may, yes.
Thank you. I've already been unprecedented of the Cotton Gin Cemetery Association, and after they obliterated our entrance and destroyed our public segway between the road, I did follow up with the landowner, and he said, I leased that for an event, I'm not responsible.
Oh, really? Okay.
Did the person that had the event, did they get a permit?
No.
No.
Did they know to get one? How would you know?
Well, like I say,
So the
yeah,
landowner don't care.
Yeah.
Smoke that distance, okay, I'll be quiet.
yeah, it's their way around. And I feel like that's why in the statute, it talks about the promoter, not the landowner.
Yeah.
A
In the-
person
in the-
commits an offense if a person violates this order. The person that violated would be, and it says on here, you have to say whether it's an organization, an organizer, a promoter. It could just be the owner that's doing it, because you have all, if they fill this out, if they don't fill this out, then
That's
We have
where, that's where I was
I've
coming from, if
gotten,
we don't know.
we've gotten gas, we have gotten this thing for, mass gathering for the, motocross in World.
yes, we did.
And the landowner owned the property, they got the mass gathering, they had security, you know, and of course, our people would go out there, our law enforcement or whoever would go out there and look at it, and I mean, if they wanted to, and make sure everything was okay. And,
Yes.
and they had, you know, those things, they have like ambulances on standby, they have like a helicopter.
That's
I
why
mean, it's
we
a
don't
real
say-
big deal. You know, very few people even know about it, but there's, I don't know, 50,000 people out there probably at one time or more.
Really?
Yeah.
Those voters, really?
Yeah, I mean, it is, you know, and there's, but the other thing about it is they have traffic control, they have somebody that tells them where to go in, you know, where to get in, and have gates and
Yeah.
things like that, and so there's not anybody on the public road. It's out on their property.
Right.
But anything out on the public road can be addressed.
Sure, yeah, it should be.
Now, the county health authority may inspect the mass gathering during the mass gathering to ensure that the minimum standards of health and sanitation prescribed by state and local laws are being maintained. And if not, then he can order them to correct the violation, or there can be criminal penalties if they commit an offense that violates this 751. But I guess the issue is what you're talking about. We may not even know about it until it's happened and over.
But if they fill this out,
How would you know?
then if
how
they
would
were
you
to
know
damage the
it's
cemetery,
gonna
you'd know, at least maybe you'd have somebody to go after. Is that hopeful? I hope it doesn't happen again. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
How would you know if you were gonna have a function that you had to come up here and get a permit? How would you know that?
Well, they would just have to plan on it. Plan about, and then the one that we know that we
We're
have
gonna find out
now,
who it is, let them know.
the one that we, you mean, how would they know about how many people or to do this?
Even having to do that. I didn't know it until we started to build it, not Jim. I didn't know that.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's what I've always heard.
Normally I just, and most of you guys probably already have that information, I sent y'all text a minute ago with some video and so forth.
Yeah, we looked at it.
They're having another event Saturday week, the 13th. For only $30, you can get your ticket or your cash to the Army Guard on the county road. So they've got one coming up.
Yeah, we know that.
Well,
I've seen some of the videos, I don't know if y'all have.
Yeah, we looked at it.
I hadn't looked at it, but
I've looked at it.
Pretty out of control.
Like fun to me.
did that information that was, did it have the name of the person, or did it just show the address of where they come
I didn't look at it that close, I just
to? Yeah.
found it while I was sitting over there.
Not be a bad idea if we ahead of time, contact the person that owns the land.
is it gonna fall, talking numbers wise, is it gonna fall under this? 500, I mean, because you're going to, is it take 25, is there 2,500 people out there? Hundreds, I mean, it's hard to estimate.
I one time went out to the pasture and counted the cars, and there were over 700 cars.
How many?
700.
Really?
In a cow pasture.
700.
So I don't know how many are actually attending.
Sure.
But from my observations, it's mostly young people.
Yeah.
So how many of them are going to go through the trouble of taking?
And
Most of them are.
That'll take that 550% of those take care of that, if it will.
Can the county legally fly
I was just,
over that property? Use drone footage?
I'll talk with the sheriff about,
As
you
part of
know,
the inspection?
potentially. And I do think it'd be I think the 121,
Yeah,
51% is
that-
probably
that-
kind of what we're more looking at.
700.
It says if they reasonably expect that there will be 50% or more of people that are younger than 21 years of age.
We have reason to, after talking to two of the deputies that went out there last time,
Yeah.
they did tell me that the majority of them were younger.
Yeah.
And they did arrest some for marijuana, lots of alcohol, so we have reason to.
Okay. Devin, you got anything? Devin, you said there. Did you have them go out, Devin?
Say that again.
Did you happen to go out?
No, I heard about the deputies.
Okay.
Anytime there's a large gathering in the county, we make sure we have extra deputies in the area just to make sure the public roads are, and the rules are being followed on those public roads out there.
So they need to be kind of, we've got to adopt. We need to also think about, you know, if you're ever got adopted, it's already there, it's already in place. Okay.
I'm sorry.
People have the right, have property rights, and if they're doing whatever it is incorrectly, doing it by the law, get the permits, get everything done, no matter who they are. If they're doing it the right way, that's fine. And we're not targeting anyone, we're just trying to set this for our county, what will happen if we have a mass gathering somewhere. We need to know it so that we can make sure that there's access for the ambulances, for the.
No disruption of public services, and, you know.
Which statute says
Health and
10-4
safety.
too?
Yeah, I mean, health and safety,
What we're
correct.
looking at.
And I mean, and it's just, and our right of ways have to be clear. Our public road has to be clear. So, I mean, I'm not, we're not targeting anyone, we're just saying these are the rules, and you have to go by. This is what Freestone County requires, and so that's what you have to go.
That's what they do down the road, then, I mean, they've already been doing that down the motocross.
And we have addressed mass gatherings before.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
had permits, so
In
it's
my
not
precinct.
like we are just
Right,
targeting
right.
this one person. We just need to be sure that since we know they're gonna have a gathering, that they are aware of it, and hopefully they can bring us a permit and we can go from
Because we've had to get one numerous times for the racetrack.
What doesn't it say in here on the statute from 10 to 4, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
It's on either or.
Either, yeah, I think I read that somewhere.
there. The amount of time during the period beginning at 10 and ending at 4. 10.
Or it's more than 5 continuous hours.
Yeah.
Or what time?
More than 5 continuous hours.
Okay.
Persons will remain for more than 5 continuous hours, or for any amount of time between 10 and 4. But that is a statute, that is already in place. And so what we've looked at is just maybe trying to get this information to this person that owns the property, since we don't know who we'll look and see if we can find out who the promoter is. But it's really up to them to have to do it, but it wouldn't hurt for us to get the information to them too.
To be fair.
Matter of fact, I think whenever.
Whether they're notified or not, it's still a state statute.
It's a statute, it's already in place. But before, I believe with the fellow that did that other, he didn't know it.
No.
And so, but when we did advise him of that he did do
Correct.
this. Just ask for a permit and all of that.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Nothing.
Anything else?
so much. Thank you.
I believe everybody, the sheriff and everyone
Yeah.
is aware, and they always do try to facilitate all that, but I appreciate you bringing it to us for us to talk about again, because we haven't had one in a long time. And if we do see that there's an issue that, you know, this person might need to apply with, then it, like you said, it's only fair that we try to get that to them so that we'll be in compliance.
And hopefully no more private property tax.
Should have bought it all when I had the chance.
All right.
We need to sign it.
Um,
We need to sign this, Judge.
We do.
Today.
Yeah, before we go. And then budget workshop, all we'll say about this today is that we are beginning to get all of our information together, and then we will have a meeting next Wednesday, and we will begin talking about that. So is there any other comments? If not, we have.
There's a parade in downtown Rutherford tomorrow at 9 o'clock. There is a lawnmower parade in the street tomorrow. Refreshments, hot dogs, watermelon, snow cones, whatever. Come and enjoy, come and enjoy.
Nice.
Like both things.
With that, and we'll finish up your agreement.
We'll get it done.
Anything else? If not, we have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Adjourn.
We meet when next week?
Next week.